Hello everyone. I just wanted to do a quick overview on my Arrma Granite voltage. This was an RC I bought during the Black Friday sale. I ran it pretty much as I can for like a month and a half. You can tell by the tires alone. And you can see that they're pretty bald from just running it. I didn't just run this on the street. I ran in a baseball field and the grass, pretty much anywhere I can find. I ran it. I put a lot of battery packs through this thing, like, maybe 20, 30 packs already. Straight out of the box, I wasn't using the stock electronics. I had already upgraded it straight out of the box because I kind of saw other reviews and I knew what I was getting into. So these are just the changes I made to it to make it more towards my liking. And overall, I tried it out of the box just so I could see what it's like. So now I can compare and basically give you my opinion as to what it's like out of the box versus what I've done. To start with is the shocks. You can see I have aluminum shocks on here. These shocks were taken off the Team Associated B6. The front and rear is the same length. These are the rear shocks that was found, or it's being used on the Team Associated B6. The springs, the front end, you can't really see it, but the front end, the springs are the same. I used the stock springs that came on the Arrma Voltage because the springs are soft enough and they dampen the vehicle for its weight. The rear end, however, the stock springs, the car seems to sag a lot. It'll usually sag like around here once you put the battery in and everything like that. I didn't really like that, so I use the slash 4x4 springs. These are the rear springs that are used on the slash 4x4. Works fine, fits. And overall, see the RC, it doesn't seem to have any sag. It holds its ride height properly. Another upgrade I did, there was a lot of, I don't know if you can see it, but there's basically reviews on the steel or the drive axles. They were basically, this drive cup here would wear out and have a lot of wobble. I bought the Integy CVD Driveshaft upgrades. It was like 30 bucks. I'd say it's definitely well worth it. It comes with complete assembly and new drive cups that would fit onto the diff. So definitely a needed upgrade that I would recommend. Another thing I did was my motor. You can't really see it all that well. There's not really much to see. But I'm running a 21 turn Holmes Hobby Trailmaster Sport motor. This motor has got more torque than the stock motor. It also has it's just a better design, a better built of a motor overall. It doesn't get as hot, and I did compare this with the stock motor versus this motor, and I did notice that this motor does not get as hot compared to the stock one. Next thing I did was my gearing. Can't really see it all that well. Oh, you can see it here. I modded my stock gear to accommodate a Traxxas 58 32 pitch spur gear. I basically just made the gear round. I cut the original stock gear and I basically I used the bearing to center the Traxxas spur gear onto the stock spur gear, and I basically just drilled 3 holes, and I had also cut out the teats off the old gear. I can make a video on this one particularly if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments and I'll let you know about the design. But basically I changed my gearing. I'm running a 20 tooth pinion gear with a 58 tooth 32 pitch spur gear. That's my gearing. It is noticeably faster considering I'm running a 21 turn motor. The next thing I did was a cooling fan. I'm running a 40 millimeter cooling fan here. What I did notice is that if you were to mount a fan, you can take a 30 millimeter fan and mount it onto the chassis over here. It'll fit. The problem is that the magnetic field from the motor would interfere with the magnetic field on this cooling fan motor, and it would basically stop this fan from working. So what I had to do was make some sort of a spacer with my 3D printer to basically hold the fan about 15 to 16 millimeter away from the surface of the chassis, and now it works. So basically what happened is air builds up over here and it forces it into this area over here, and basically the warm air comes out from this area over here. It works out great. The next thing I did was that I have a Hobbywing 1080 ESC. This is usually used on crawlers mostly, but you can get it reprogrammed, and that's exactly what I did. I reprogrammed it so it's got forward, brake, and reverse, and you know, it functions no different than any one of those other brushed ESCs, despite the fact that they, you know, mainly use it for crawlers. I made a little receiver box with the 3D printer again. The thing is that these items, this you can just buy another receiver box, a waterproof box from Arrma, and the thing is they've got these holes that are pre-drilled onto the chassis. I don't know if you can see it. These holes, there's one here, and then also there's another hole that's on the chassis exactly where these two screws are. I just use standoffs to basically get the screw holder up here. But take my word for it, there's 2, 4, 6 holes in a row on the chassis on the top end that you can bolt or basically secure screws onto it. Next thing I did was the servo. You can't really see it, but I've got a Eco Power servo from A-Main Hobbies. It has more than plenty enough torque for this particular RC. This truck is so light that you don't really need a whole lot of torque, but it works out fine. For my battery, I am using this Redline, this Gens Ace Redline 8200 milliamp battery. It fits in perfectly, and I usually get about 30 to 40 minute runtime given the amount of speed that I get out of this truck. I know I can easily just slap a brushless system into this thing and get 45 miles, 50 miles an hour easy. The thing is, I just want to keep it brushed. I have a lot of brushless RCs. There's no need to make this into a brushless RC. I just want to keep it brushed. Another upgrade I have is the front bumper. You can see this is the T-Bone Racing bumper. Highly recommended for this thing. You can see that, not sure if you can really see any scratches on it, but this takes a beating, it takes an impact. A lot of times I've just smacked into a wall, and basically what happens is that the truck would just hit the wall and it'll bounce back. The bumper pretty much just takes all the impact. You can see that I have a chassis protector on here. You can see the gloss. Basically what happens is that all the impact, or basically the front end glides. This is like a dead zone on the chassis, and then the rest of it will kind of just slide over here and then kind of slide on here, and you can see this piece over here, it's got a lot of discoloration to it in a way. This takes the impact. So basically all your sliding is done on this area of the chassis. So that's why I put a chassis protector on it, and that helps a lot. Next thing is my body. This is the Russian unbreakable body that's meant for the Arrma Outcast, the 4S version. The thing is, the body happens to be the perfect fit for the voltage. It lines up with the wheels. And I kind of just, you know, cut the wheel welds more, but it fits perfectly and there's nothing there. Again, I used the 3D printer to make this grill to fit, and I'm using 5mm LEDs as the headlight. See here. See, got those lights there, and I got some lights in the back end. As far as tires go, I got these tires off Banggood. They happen to be the same size as the stock tire. So basically, when these tires wear out completely and they've got to the point where they've either got a cut on the inside or they're just completely bald or I have no more traction, I'm gonna cut these tires open and take the inserts out of it and put it on these tires. These tires did come with inserts on it, but they were too firm to be used on this truck. The inserts that seem nice is the one that's currently inside these tires, so I kind of just want to take that, swap it over here before I install it onto this truck. That concludes my voltage. It runs fine just the way it is. I haven't had any broken parts on it so far, and I've cartwheeled with this thing many times. Any questions, just leave me a comment. I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.